Alright guys, here's a short but somewhat detailed description of the planet Mercury in regards to Kabbalah and most importantly also numerology. Kabbalistically, Elohim Sabaoth, Kabbalistically the planet Mercury is known as Hod. So for this we'll be referring to the book Gates of Light. And Hod is entitled Elohim Sabaoth, meaning God of Hosts. Elohim Sabaoth, return to us, shine your countenance and we will be saved, which corresponds to Psalm 90, verse 8. The name called Elohim Sabaoth is the essence of the attribute that draws an array of judgment and might from the left side. It draws from Binah and from fear, and it wages the wars of the Lord of hosts from above and below. For when it is written, Yahweh waged war with Egypt, it is known that this is the essence of the last letter of Yahweh, for it is the one that wages the wars of Yahweh, which is called Adonai. Adonai wins all these wars with the force of Yahweh Elohim Sabaoth, which are clothed with the three well-known chariots, the essence of which is Vayisa, Vayavo, Vayet. In this manner, understand that the name Elohim Sabaoth infuses power in the name Adonai to wage the wars of Yahweh, the essence of which is Elohim Sabaoth. Restore, look down from heaven and see, take not of that vine, which is in Psalm 80, verse 4. This attribute is called Hod in the following verse. Yours, Yahweh, are greatness, might, splendor, triumph, and Hod. 1 Chronicles 29:11. The essence of why it is called Hod is that it is dressed in the attribute of Gevurah, which is courage and might, and power to bring low the enemy, to win wars and to save the lovers of the Lord, the essence of which is Vehodi, my majesty, became a destroyer and no strength within me remained. Daniel 10, verse 8. Because this is the place where wars are won, as well as making wonders and miracles. Thus we know that when the name called Adonai is dressed in Hod, all the wars of Israel will be won, and we will collect from those who have troubled us and pay back all of our enemies in kind. Therefore we must give thanks to the one who is dressed in the clothes of Hod and wins wars, the essence of which is, you have dressed in Hod and Hadar. The eighth sephirah, or branch in the Kabbalistic tree of life, is the letter H, or Hod in Hebrew, meaning majesty. Such is the condition of the new order brought forth by the eight after the cycle of 7 has prepared the way and completed its septenary task. The illumined consciousness of that new order is described by Paul in the 15th chapter of 1 Corinthians, wherein he speaks of the mortal putting on immortality and the corruptible becoming incorruptible. 8 is the consciousness which spans heaven and earth. At its highest, it gives extended perception and transcendental powers. Not until these are acquired and exercised can the 8 experience true satisfaction of soul. The 8 offers no halfway measures. It is either personal limitation or spiritual freedom, splendor or degradation, the casket or the rainbow, the terrestrial or the celestial. 8 may grovel in the material, the bestial, or soar upon the wings of the caduceus into immortal spheres, returning as a prophet of glory, a messenger of the joys of an eternal life. 8 is the cosmic number. The vibratory power of 8 tends to lift one beyond the limitations to the personal environment. It is termed the resurrection number and carries the high powers of the golden Christ ray. Because of the regenerative of 8, by far the greater number of the old fonts and baptistries are octagonal. In harmony with these facts, we read in Luke 2:12-22, and when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child, his name was called Jesus, which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. And when the days of his purification were accomplished, They brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. 8 is the highest feminine number of the entire series. It is the number of the feminine in exaltation, referred to sometimes by esoteric numerologists as the number of the double feminine. It is the symbol of the awakened and developed soul faculties of the highest type. The book of Exodus is key to 8. The paramount message of this book is found in the words, "I was never disobedient to the heavenly vision." These words are descriptive of 8. Those who come under the rulership of this number rise easily above the material and claim their own amidst the things of the spiritual. 8 is the number of the resurrection into a higher consciousness and a new manner of living. It is the power of divinity within which leads man, as represented by the children of Israel, out of Egypt, and the symbolical land of materiality ruled over by Pharaoh, the power of this world, and into a land wherein they no longer function under bestial bondage, but under the laws of God. The highway of spirit is definitely pointed out in this illuminating record of a God-guided people. It outlines the steps on the path of soul attainment. It offers truly an exodus from the old, the finite, and the personal, and to the promised land of the new age, wherein freedom, equity, soul, comradeship, and cosmic knowing, all of which are key words of 8, will be generally realized. Moses, the primary personality of the book of Exodus, is an 8 character. Moses typifies the fourth dimensional consciousness wherein those fourfold forces are projected or lifted into the sphere of 8. The project or expansion of faculties is difficult of accomplishment and is earned only by merit. The experiences encountered by the ego during this process of unfoldment are described briefly in the great plagues of Exodus. Through the multitude of external impacts experienced in the course of daily living, the soul encounters joy and sorrow, pain and comfort, and all the many other opposites common to earth life. From these it makes an extract which becomes the spiritual substance, out of which it builds the foundation stone upon which it fashions the age of harmony, structure, namely the consciousness that functions at will amid the glories of a new or promised land. The land is the true domain of the 8 who is born to know his cosmic heritage and who, for this reason, is obligated spiritually to aid all those who may ask for assistance. The 8 must always serve and point the way toward emancipation, for such Moses is the ideal type. The number 8's cyclic motion appears in the caduceus, the staff or mystic wisdom carried by Mercury or Hermes, the god of the ancient wisdom. The caduceus is also a symbol of the logos, or the creative word of fiat, which becomes the universal, fecundating principle of the cosmos. The 2 intertwined serpents of the caduceus are referred to in the Masonic teachings. The serpent-encircled rod surmounted with 2 outspread wings belongs to the profound symbolism of the number 8 and represents the lemniscate currents of life force which sweep the earth, passing through every living form, from the body of the earth itself down to its most minute organism. It is the uniting of the 2 currents, one positive and the other negative, which produces the equilibrium that results in the circulation of force. This force, or essence of life and spirit, impresses its cosmic signature in the form of the figure 8 on every earthly form. In the body of man, these currents become radiations of light, flowing out from the sympathetic and the cerebrospinal nervous systems when his consciousness is elevated above the material to the spiritual. 8 is the feminine, the negative, the primeval mother or water principle. In the words of a Masonic writer, the figure 8 is formed by drawing a line around a woman's breasts. Each in turn thus is symbolized recreation. Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great Egyptian sage, declared many thousands of years ago that the principal work of the present 5th root race would be the attainment of balance. That this is still far from being realized in the mass of humanity is evident in the disharmonious conditions generally prevalent everywhere and which manifest as pain, poverty, disease, and death. From the field of sin and punishment, thou shalt pass into the boundless freedom of my divine protection.